Frog, single daily action, balance. Interesting. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1451 of, that's 1451. What's she up to now? Documenting my online journey, offline to online, online to off, back and forth. Just basically business journey with respect to how we add an online component to our offline businesses, how we go totally online, etc. All kinds of things like that. In 2017, I had the opportunity, following my divorce, to decide what I wanted to do with my life. And I'd always been curious about the internet. I grew up in, way decades before the internet even existed. And so my business experience, 48 years it's been now, in owning and operating different businesses, as well as simultaneously working over a quarter century of that in corporate America, was all offline. And I dabbled, not really business-wise online, but I, had a social media account. I think I've had a Facebook account for 13, 14 years, however long Facebook's been around. I was probably one of the early adopters. Same with Twitter, although Twitter, I don't do anything with, and that's for a lot of reasons, but I share my videos on it once a day, and that is about it. Once in a while, I'll engage with people, but not very often, because it usually turns into a crapshoot, I'll call it. So today we're talking about, in Supersize Your Business, to have a frog in your throat. Now, I've been doing these as part of my physical, for the BU 365-day challenge. I'm focusing on the physical area and aspect of our life in the month of January. And as part of that, I'm doing these shakes. And I think I had a frog in my throat probably since I had COVID in December of 2019, January of 2020, before it was even a thing. I've had croaky throat challenges. I've really had croaky throat, rusty gate hinge, my mom used to call it, challenges my entire life. When I was very young, I started to get laryngitis and little infections and things. I've had them, I've been very prone to them my whole life. And so a lot of the time, I was one of those kids, and my daughter, this happened to her too, that actually loved the taste of penicillin, amoxicillin and things, because I had to take it so often as a kid. I just developed a liking for it because it helped to relieve the pain that was going on in my throat. So always had kind of a rusty gate hinge voice. So I the frog in your throat one, I thought this was a really fun idiom for today. I decided that since I'm doing physical for the BU challenge, I might as well, for the rest of the month in January, focus on physical related idioms for Supersize Your Business. So today was to have a frog in your throat. And I said, well, how do you have a frog in your throat and still grow and supersize your business? Well, physical ones, these are a little more challenging, the ones that come up as physical idioms, to tie to business. But I love trying. I love the challenge of figuring out, okay, well, what does having a frog in your throat have to do with growing and building and supersizing your business, right? And then so I answered that in the Supersize Your Business post today, which is available on Supersize Your Business Facebook page, of course, as well as other places. I share it around the internet as part of my processing every day. I create content and then I share that content, which leads to our annual challenge today. Was about single daily action. What is something that you do every day, that you can do every day to move you toward what it is that you want? I take all my goals and everything and I break them down to smaller and smaller chunks and pieces, so that there's things I can be doing automatically every day that I can build into my daily routines or link to other activities that I'm already doing, so that I'm continuously moving in little bitty baby steps at a time toward the things that I want, almost effortlessly, right? Once I take something and I turn it into a habit or a routine or a ritual, I don't have to really consciously think about it anymore. I'm just going to automatically do it. I have alarms set on my phone, for example. Every time certain alarms go off at certain times of day on my phone, it triggers me to do something. Every time I make a cup of coffee or tea in the microwave, I do deep knee bends. Why? And I started doing that again. I used to do it all the time in corporate America, as long as there wasn't someone around, like the microwave, while I was making my coffee. Because that would be embarrassing, right? We don't need to go out of our way to make ourselves look foolish or get other people talking about us around the water cooler. I would do deep knee bends, right? And I stopped doing it for a long time, and then I just started doing it again recently this year as reminding me to be more physical and keep moving. Moved into a much smaller house a couple of years ago, and so it's taken what was automatically a lot of movement and activity and shrunk it down. And as it's shrunk down, I have expanded, not in the ways that I want. So I'm finding ways and incorporating ways to move more into my daily routines. But then I don't have to think about it. I will just automatically do it. I do squats and things while I brush my teeth, right? I combine activities. I also do affirmations while I brush my teeth, because then I just automatically do. And I'm working on my mental, my confidence, my physical by doing all. Well, physical too is brushing my teeth, right? So I get all these benefits out of one activity that I was doing anyway by linking things to it. And over the years, I have discovered and learned by experience that breaking big things down into little pieces has a lot of advantages for us. Number one, it gets us taking action, a little bit of action at a time. And that action becomes consistency, becomes increased confidence, becomes more results, which build upon each other. And before we know it, we've climbed this mountain just by taking one step at a time, by putting one foot in front of the other. And we achieve things that, number one, seemed impossible when we first thought of them. And all of a sudden, we're just knocking them right off our list. So single daily action was our topic today for BU 365-day challenge. And I probably rambled and talked too long about it because it seems to be what I'm doing lately this month for some reason. And that's okay. Sometimes we flow and other times we babble. There's a lot of people that totally script everything that they do online and say, I am obviously not one of them, right? Don't have this master plan. I guess I do have a master plan. I just don't have specific, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? How am I going to say it? And I suppose as communication is one of my areas to improve in this year, and I've got goals set for that, I probably will structure things more because I think people receive structured things better and repetitive things. I've got some influencer friends online, and if you're not following them all the time, and I see why they do it, they've got a certain repertoire, rather small repertoire of social media posts, for example, and they just repeat them. It feels like every 4 months or so they repeat. And it could be 3, but they repeat the same. It probably is a 90-day thing. And they just repeat the same stuff every 90 days, which if you're not following them over an extended period of time, it wouldn't matter because they're reaching new people all the time. I personally, that doesn't work for me. I don't like to watch movies over again. I don't like to read the same books over and over again. I always want information coming in that's helping me grow, because everything we're exposed to, believe it or not, it stays with us somewhere. It's just a matter of how do we retrieve it when we need it. That is the area that we need to work on. Not do we need to keep repeatedly exposing ourselves to the same information. No, we need to use it the first time we hear it, right? How many things have we heard thousands of times in our life, yet for some reason the 1187th time we hear it, it clicks, and then we use it. But we've heard it our entire life, right? Lots of things, lots of examples like that in my life for sure, and probably in yours as well. So those were the pieces of content I created today. Still working on my calendar for the 365-day challenge. Haven't finished it yet. Other priorities, other things, other projects that we're working on. But that's still like my background schedule information in between other schedules, other appointments. We got to figure that in. And I'm thinking about, what else do I want to do this year? Do I want to do another women's summit? I've been thinking about it since 2019 when I did the first one, and I really believe that might be fun and rewarding to do this year. There's a lot of women business owners or women wannabe business owners that we can help by bringing a group of women that have already succeeded together and having them share their information on a specific topic. We did customers last time. And I guess I would be curious, what is your most important, most burning desire or question to know more about that we could do a summit on? That would be, I'd be curious about that. I haven't asked, I haven't been seriously deciding if that's what I want to do. But if I'm not going to do the Get Up and Go challenge every other month this year, I have the capacity to handle something else. And I think a summit or maybe more podcast interviews would be good because the podcast is doing pretty well. All right. Let me know, and I will be with you tomorrow. Also, I just thought of this. I need to rename my podcast. My podcast is still Pajama Grandma. And I really haven't used Pajama Grandma since the beginning of 2020. I was going to transition out of an off grandma in 2020, and then COVID and the pandemic hit. And frog in my throat. I was informed that in no uncertain terms, it would be inappropriate to have Pajama Grandma die off in 2020. So I've just been kind of slowly stopping doing things as Pajama Grandma. I slowly stopped doing my pajamas and robes. I stopped doing all that. But I still like her. Still have a whole rack of robes, but I just wear them for coziness and warmth as it's cold here in the winter. So any ideas, any thoughts? Great name for a podcast. Let me know. Probably something about changes or challenges or that, because we do a lot of work with changing and challenges. All right. Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow to let you know what she's up to. Bye.